today. I want to go to you first, Ram. Scintillating, really, from you today. You absolutely cut Newcastle to ribbons.
Yeah, I mean, it's a weird one. I was speaking with G earlier today. I mean, just after full time. It's a weird one because we played really well, but the scoreline doesn't reflect that. I mean, we had so many chances. We cut them open whenever opportunity arises. We just didn't finish the chances off. And then when we had some elements of pressure against us, we kind of let a couple of goals in. So it's a weird one. I wouldn't say it's that straightforward. I wouldn't say, oh, it was us just absolutely nullifying. They had their chances as well. But in terms of the scoreline, it should have been 7 or 8, in my opinion. We should have pumped them. It should have been 4-0 at halftime. And that's going to probably be the biggest downfall for us because at some point, we are going to rue these chances missed. We said at the start of the season, the defense has been the problem. Now it's the other way around. The attack is create the chances. We cut through teams, but we just can't be able to finish off those chances. And seeing as though Salah's going off to AFCON, that's another thing that we need to be a little bit concerned about. But overall, I'm going to be happy with that win, man. Very good win, in my opinion.
Yeah, of course. And G, from your point of view, I know there was a lot of missed chances in the game, which I get will be a bit of a frustration, but essentially you absolutely ripped them apart today, and only conceding 4 goals kind of flatters Newcastle, really.
It flatters them, but I kind of agree with what Ram's saying, though. Like, it's weird, man. It's weird. It's like there's more to it. I feel like that game requires some level of context, almost, because as everyone saw the game, we should have scored about 8. But as Ram said, the second Newcastle, just added a bit of pressure, all of a sudden Liverpool just looked a bit like, oh, okay, hold on here. You had Isak, 1 chance, goal. That's it. And that's all it took because we weren't taking our chances. And then that was just the annoying part. But I mean, when you mentioned about like the forwards and stuff like that, they're good in maybe comparison to maybe other teams, other teams' forwards who I don't really think are that good. But when you're playing for Liverpool, I'll be honest, Terry, man, I don't think that these guys are that good if you're comparing it to what we're trying to do and the type of players that they're trying to almost replace, the Gappos, the Nunez's, the Jotas. They're good in their own right. But if Salah was to leave next season, as an example, and you told me, yeah, these are the 3-4 players that you're going to have for next season, yeah, I definitely wouldn't be looking at Liverpool with any type of threat. We've seen way too many games that these guys are not the ones to really rely on. And it really took Salah to take the mantle on himself to help the team. So it's one of those ones. But ultimately, we dominated Newcastle, man. You know what I mean? We definitely deserved the 3 points at the end of that.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing here, and I want to make sure I'm hearing right and not assuming. So you're happy with the overarching performance, but is it more of a worry that there's going to be some games that maybe you drop points because the forwards are not finishing their dinner? Is that where the frustration lies? Almost like you're sort of seeing the future a little bit.
Terry, 0-0 Manchester United, 1-1 versus Arsenal. It's happened literally recently. Yeah. Do you get? I mean, this isn't even oh man, do you know what? This never happens. This literally happened. We had 30 how many shots against Manchester United? And you couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. Embarrassing. How many shots did you have against Arsenal? You couldn't put the ball in the back of the net more than once. Come on, we're starting to get embarrassing. Then you have 34 shots today and you score 4 of them. And then you have however many missed chances that you should be putting in the back of the net. Newcastle scored 2. Only a late penalty from Salah kind of puts the game to bed almost, because even at 3-2, I'm looking at the game thinking, eesh, Newcastle might do something. And again, it's not to the overall performance in terms of the full game. Of course, we dominated Newcastle. They had maybe a 10, 15 minutes in terms of the entirety of the game. But when we're looking at the little nuances of the game, man, I don't know, man. There's something about Liverpool when you watch them, they don't make it look easy, and it's just one of those things, man.
Yeah. Do you echo this Rack? Your forwards, are they good enough to shoot you to a title, or are you as frustrated with them as the boys seemingly are?
There's a degree of frustration for sure, but I think it all sits within the context of Manchester City, right? We know the levels that Man City have reached, and therefore to reach and surpass them, we need to be I've said it before. We need to be pretty close to perfect, and then so that's why if Man City weren't around, then I don't think we would be having this kind of. You could take this kind of result. It was relatively easy to be fair. Although Newcastle, there was a couple of hairy moments. But if Man City weren't around, then we'd all be way more confident, and therefore missed opportunities, not just in this game, but in other games, like G has said, like Ram has said, that they wouldn't be so potentially poignant, potentially season changing. So that's what it comes down to. Overall, happy with the game in general. First half was frustrating. Like G said, it was really frustrating because we created some really good chances. We actually played some decent football. I don't want to get on at Nunes too much, right?
Yeah, no, I get you. Do you know what? When I'm listening to audio, do any of you drink wine?
Sometimes.
Every now and then.
There's a point. Here's a point to this. When I was younger, not earning much money, I'll be buying the Blossom Hill. Do you know what I mean? $4.99 bottle of wine. Then I made a really big. I liked it. Then I made a mistake. Once I spent like £45 on a bottle of wine. It was amazing. You then go back and buy a Blossom Hill. That shit tastes like vinegar. And I can't, maybe you guys are going through this. When you had Firmino, Mane, Salah in their pomp, that's where you want to get back to again. And I suppose I'm kind of looking at this from the outside in, going, I think your attack's really good. You're saying, bruv, it's nothing like as good as it was before. So I do get it. I do understand where you're coming from.
I understand that because I have a little bit of a different take with this. I was actually quite proud of the performance in the way we defensively. Sometimes we switched off, but throughout the whole game, even Luis Diaz, who a lot of Liverpool fans, even me, have been criticizing, actually played quite well today. I won't even lie, he was actually beating his man. I was shocked he was beating his man. But one thing about me that our attack, I think our attack is fine. And remember, I'm actually the first one that actually said it since the Luton game, that I said our attack, there's something wrong with our attack. Our attack is not clicking. So I actually been knowing about it. In the game, Liverpool were thinking about it too much. And even the commentator was saying it. In the second half, Liverpool were more composed. Look at the pass that Salah gave to Jota. Look at the pass that Jota gave to who's the one that scored? Who scored again? Where Jota got the assist? I completely forgot. But it was more composed. That's it. Curtis Jones. It was Curtis Jones. It was more composed. And I feel like, yes, Salah going away is going to be a big miss for us. But the fact that Jota has come back and he's a killer, for me, he's come back at the most important time. Now we need others to step up, and they have to step up because sometimes they hide under the Salah light. There's no Salah light anymore. You have to step up now. And I also do believe that some other midfielders will step up, like Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, because they've been getting goals in as well. So I'm not worried about this January period. I'm actually quite happy. I thought it was going to be one of those games where Liverpool will have so many shots on target, so many shots, and we are just not going to score. I mean, the Bravka had the game of his life. Crazy. Like, literally.
It's getting a bit of echo from you there, Sam. Sorry, I want to ask you about one of the players that was mentioned there in Curtis Jones, because Gary Neville said something in commentary, and I wanted to run it by you Liverpool fans. Is he starting to come of age? Is he starting to look like because he was always a player, whenever I've listened to Liverpool fans on the show in the comment section, some love him, others have sort of thought he's a little meaty, a little mid. Is he starting to prove himself as a...
I think it's... Go on.
He is. And this is why... It's okay, I think, every now and then to criticize some of these younger players, but you just need to give them time and see where they land. And, I didn't know whether it was going to work with Curtis Jones. I was on the fence, but I thought, let's see what happens. If it doesn't work, my expectations for young players coming through Liverpool or any other big club is if they become good squad players, I've said it before, if they become your Wes Browns, your John O'Shea's, the guys that come in as subs and come in and do a job for you, that's all I need, because you're not paying any money for them. If they come in and do that and you supplement your squad with other world-class players or players who are going to become world-class, that's fine. I don't necessarily need all my youth team players to become world-class. Curtis Jones is not world-class yet, but he's doing really well. And I'm really happy to see that, because he is one of our own. And I think when you have young players who come through the squad, that gives people around the club a good feeling. And I'm very happy for the kid because he's had some tough. He's had a lot of criticism over the last couple of years.
Mm. No, I hear you on that. It's interesting because I did a video many moons ago, and it was about Man United young players, but it was titled "You're either Mbappe or shit," and got demonetized for the swear word in the title. But it's how I sort of feel like sometimes. Well, if you're not world class at 18, I'm writing you off, and I've never really quite understood that. But he's looked really good in the last few games.
I think
he looks solid.
I think because people, he almost say burst onto the scene, but he scored that wonder goal against Everton in the FA Cup, and people were expecting that's going to be the norm of him. He's just going to score long range bangers from here on in, and that's never been his thing. He can produce that from time to time, but the one thing he's sort of worked on is that he doesn't need to do the flashy stuff, just do the simple stuff. And one thing that he's good at is he makes other people better. Like the one thing that we've given him so much praise for, he keeps it simple, keeps the ball ticking, and he allows other players around him to look a lot better. And that's him in a nutshell. He's a very selfless player when it comes to this actual system, his actual team. And that's what Jurgen Klopp likes.
Sorry, if you got offered 50 million, would you sell Curtis Jones?
Yes.
Sorry, say
how
that
much?
Again?
50 million.
So if you got 50 million for Curtis Jones, would you sell him?
Yeah, because I reckon you could easily go and buy another player more or less exactly like him, if not better. Like, I think what Jones is he's that steady type of player. So you don't mind having someone like that in the team. And every team, I don't care who you are, top teams in the world, they all have a player or two who are just steady guys. You know what I mean? Just the guys who they come in every now and again, or they might even be playing so good that you're almost like, you know what? He just fits what I need him to do. That he listens to what the manager says, he takes on board all the information, and he can do, you know, all of those kind of things. But I think when it comes to what Terry said there about even Mbappe or shit, the problem that you've got is like when you're a top team, it really is you're Mbappe or you're shit almost, because you're in a situation where it's like we don't really have time to wait until you get to the age of 24, 25, and then all of a sudden you want to start being this supposedly good player kind of thing. Like we're a top team, we're trying to win things. Like we haven't really got time for you to do whatever it is that you're trying to do. And then, you know, look at Solanke, prime example. Only now is this guy starting to score. He plays for Bournemouth. Like Lord knows what his level is even gonna kind of be like. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, well, if I'm being honest, yes, you can be from the academy, and look, Real Madrid have got the Nachos of this world, who guys who've just been around for donkey's years, and it's just one of those kind of things. And you can keep those kind of players if they don't mind and understand their role. Listen, you ain't never going to be a star in this team, but guess what? You can do a job. If Jones doesn't mind that, listen, Jones, I would love for him to stay. I feel like he's got higher ambitions though,
and
so it just depends.
That's why the point that you made about you need to hit the ground running when it comes to Liverpool. That's why I wouldn't sell him for that amount of money, because he's already so used to the system, so used to the manager, the way we play, that bringing someone in with the same amount of money, there's going to be that element of risk. And I feel as though the risk of selling Curtis Jones and bringing someone in, it could be higher, it could be lower, but I'm not willing to take that risk. And plus, our homegrown quota stinks. It's stinky, and we need to keep as much homegrown players as possible.
Great shout. It's a great shout, boys. Obviously, we're going to touch. I want to talk about Mo Salah in a bit. We're going to come on to Newcastle as well. 7 defeats in their last 8 games. A big conversation that needs to be had about that. But I have to ask you all about the penalty to make it 4-2. It's kind of killed the game off. I want to jump to Roms first on this. You just joined us. Welcome, mate. Happy New Year.